When it comes to IShowSpeed, chaos follows him everywhere, but nothing compares to the times he's gone head-to-head with animals. And we're not talking about cute little puppies, we're talking lions, snakes, monkeys, tigers, and even robotic dogs that cost more than a car. Let's start with one of the most terrifying, his trip to India. Speed was dared to get close to a snake, and instead of backing off like a normal person, he leaned in. The snake didn't waste a second. It lunged at him, biting down and sending him into instant panic. He collapsed on the ground, screaming that he might die, while chat exploded. For most people, that would be the end of the story, but not Speed. He got bit again during the same trip. 2 venomous snake bites in one visit. Only Speed could turn a tourist trip into a near-death experience. But snakes weren't his only problem in India. During another stunt, he found himself face-to-face with a horse while dressed as a groom in a wedding bit. The horse didn't like him one bit, jerking around, refusing to cooperate, almost throwing Speed off completely. The guy couldn't even survive fake marriage without almost getting stomped. If India wasn't wild enough, Thailand was straight up insane. Speed thought it would be funny to bark at a tiger, and at first, the animal stayed calm, but when Speed kept pushing, the tiger lunged. Suddenly, the joke stopped. He was clawing at the cage, begging to be let out before things went fatal. You'd think he'd never go near big cats again, right? Wrong. Hours later, he was right back near another tiger, still barking like he wanted round 2, and it didn't end there. In the same country, Speed hopped on top of an elephant. At first, it looked like a chill ride until the giant beast decided to stand up. Speed nearly fell off, screaming to be taken down as the elephant lifted its back legs. He wasn't just scared, he was seconds away from being crushed. But Thailand also gave us one of Speed's funniest yet scariest animal encounters, the monkeys. One second he was trying to feed one. The next, the monkey lunged, stole his stuff, and nearly ripped his face off. Instead of learning his lesson, Speed went back for more and got chased again by another monkey on a different day. No matter what, monkeys seem to have personal beef with this guy. From snakes to horses, from tigers to elephants, and from monkeys to God knows what else. Speed's trips overseas proved one thing: animals do not mess around with him. And just when you think it couldn't get any worse, back in Europe, Speed met his next nightmare: dogs that weren't playing around. Back in Europe, Speed found out the hard way that not every dog wants to be his friend. In Denmark, a pit bull came out of nowhere during one of his streams. At first, he tried to joke around, but when the pit bull locked eyes on him, the mood shifted fast. The dog lunged forward, barking aggressively, and Speed bolted like his life depended on it. People around him tried to calm the dog down, but you could see how close it was to ending badly. That wasn't a playful nip, that pit bull wanted smoke. And dogs didn't stop there. In Poland, Speed thought it would be funny to play with another dog on stream. He bent down, teasing it, but the dog had other plans. Out of nowhere, it latched onto his pants, yanking them down in front of everyone. Instead of a wholesome pet moment, it turned into pure humiliation. The crowd around him was laughing, but Speed was clearly panicking while trying to cover himself up. Then came his trip to Korea, where a dog didn't just scare him, it actually bit him. Speed, being Speed, decided to bark at the animal first. And of course, the dog snapped back, lunging and biting him right on the nose. Blood instantly started flowing, and for the first time, Speed wasn't yelling for laughs. He was actually shaken. One bite in the wrong spot and his entire face could have been wrecked. But if you thought dogs were his worst enemy, think again. Birds were on a different level of ruthless. In Japan, Speed came face to face with an ostrich. At first, he tried to feed it, holding out his hand like he was at some petting zoo. The ostrich pecked at the food, then suddenly went straight for his hand. Speed yanked it back, but not before the massive bird landed a painful hit. He screamed, waving his hand around while showing the fresh mark, and smaller birds weren't much nicer. During one stream, he tried holding a parrot. It sat calmly on his arm for a few seconds, but then out of nowhere, it went for his face. Its beak snapped right next to his eye, and Speed almost dropped it out of shock. Instead of backing off, he barked at the parrot like he does at every animal, which obviously made things worse. It wasn't just real animals giving Speed hell either. Technology got involved too. At an event, Speed was introduced to a robotic dog, the kind worth tens of thousands of dollars. At first, he treated it like a toy, asking it to bark, but then it suddenly blasted back, shooting a powerful burst that nearly knocked him off his feet. Speed started screaming and backing away, realizing this wasn't a friendly robot. It was a weapon on 4 legs. From pit bulls chasing him in the streets, to birds trying to rip his face off, and even robots turning on him, it's like every creature on Earth has beef with Speed. But it doesn't stop there, because the scariest battles came when Speed went near the deadliest animals in the water and in the wild. One of the craziest moments came when he faced off with an alligator. Most people would keep a safe distance, but Speed decided to get way too close. He circled it, shouting, trying to act brave. At one point, he even teased it like he was about to jump on its back. The alligator snapped jaws, and Speed jumped back in pure panic. It was no joke. One wrong move, and that thing could have ripped him apart. Somehow, instead of backing away, he doubled down, trying to outsmart it with chat screaming at him to stop. It was reckless, dangerous, and classic Speed. But reptiles weren't his only enemies. In China, Speed ran into an entirely different kind of nightmare: Bees. While filming near the Great Wall, he accidentally disturbed a nest. Out of nowhere, a swarm surrounded him. He flailed his arms, running in circles, shouting that he was being attacked. The scene was pure chaos. He wasn't worried about looking funny anymore. Those bees were stinging, and he was desperate to escape. Watching him sprint and scream had viewers crying with laughter, but it could have easily ended with him in the hospital. But nothing was as shocking as the time Speed decided to get close to a lion. Yes, a lion. In what looked like a zoo setting, he leaned in way too close to the cage. The lion roared, lunged forward, and Speed instantly collapsed to his knees, begging for mercy. He was yelling that the lion was the real king, apologizing over and over, while his chat exploded in disbelief. This wasn't a funny prank anymore. You could see in his face that he realized how fast things could have gone wrong, and yet, instead of learning from that, he went right back into more dangerous encounters with wild cats. Tigers, lions, and big predators seemed to be drawn to him. Each time he tried barking or joking, and each time the animals reacted aggressively. It was like watching someone test fate again and again. And if you thought the big cats, reptiles, and insects were bad, wait until you see what happened when monkeys decided Speed was their personal enemy. Monkeys, if there's one animal that seems to hate Speed the most, it's them, and every time he gets near one, chaos explodes instantly. It started in Thailand when a monkey straight up robbed him. Speed thought it'd be funny to hand over some food, but the monkey wasn't satisfied. It jumped forward, snatched his stuff, and nearly scratched him in the face. Instead of backing away, Speed yelled at it like he was arguing with another streamer. The monkey bared its teeth, ready to attack, and Speed panicked, running in circles while trying not to lose more of his belongings. The crowd around him was laughing, but you could see the fear in his eyes. But the real nightmare came in Indonesia. Speed thought maybe a different monkey would treat him better. Wrong. He leaned in to shake hands with one, but instead, the monkey lunged at him, chasing him across the area. The handlers tried to calm it down, but Speed was already screaming that he was about to die. And this wasn't just a quick scare. The monkey actually kept chasing him until he barely escaped. And just when you thought he'd finally stay away from monkeys, Speed somehow made friends with another one. At first it seemed calm. Speed even told it he loved it. But monkeys aren't predictable. One second it was chill, the next it was reaching for his face. He flinched back so fast it looked like his soul left his body. That moment proved that no matter how much he tried, monkeys weren't buying his dog barks or his fake confidence. They wanted him gone, but it didn't stop with small monkeys. Speed even faced a group of them, and if one monkey was scary, a group was pure terror. While walking near a tourist spot, several monkeys surrounded him, looking ready to grab whatever they wanted. Speed froze, realizing he couldn't fight them all off. He started yelling at chat for advice, but there was nothing anyone could do. Luckily, one of the monkeys got distracted and ran off with something else, giving him a chance to escape. Even outside of Asia, monkeys still found ways to mess with him. On another trip, one literally leapt onto him out of nowhere. It happened so fast that he couldn't even react. His mic flew, his camera shook, and all you could hear was Speed screaming as handlers rushed to pull the animal off. By this point, it was clear monkeys weren't just accidents for Speed, they were a curse. Every time he saw one, something insane happened. Whether it was robbery, chasing, or straight up attacking, monkeys treated him like their #1 enemy. From snakes and lions trying to bite him, to monkeys treating him like prey, Speed's animal encounters kept leveling up. Speed isn't the only streamer who's had near-death experiences with animals. Turns out, creators across Twitch and YouTube have also learned the hard way that nature doesn't care about content. It attacks when it wants. Take Jenny TTY for example. She was visiting a deer park, thinking it would be a wholesome IRL stream. The animals looked calm at first, gently taking food from tourists. But when Jenny got close, one deer headbutted her so hard it nearly knocked her over. As she tried to laugh it off, the deer kept chasing her, biting at her bag, refusing to leave her alone. Viewers were crying with laughter while Jenny was clearly panicking, yelling that she was about to get mauled by Bambi. Then there's Iris PvP, who wasn't even outside. He was just streaming at home when a bat suddenly flew into his room. Out of nowhere, you could hear wings flapping behind him before the bat swooped across his camera. Iris jumped out of his chair, ducking and screaming, as his chat spammed Batman jokes nonstop. The chaos lasted for minutes as he tried to corner the bat with a blanket while still keeping his stream live. Animals don't even need to be big to create disasters. Streamer Sarah Kate learned that the hard way when her own cat turned on her midstream. She leaned in for a cute give me kisses moment, but instead, the cat slapped her across the face with its claws. Sarah instantly started bleeding, clutching her cheek, completely shocked. Her viewers went from all cute to call 911 in seconds. That fluffy house pet had just turned into a villain live on camera. Sometimes it's not claws, but food that causes problems. One streamer was enjoying a sandwich outside when a bird swarmed him out of nowhere. He screamed as one bird ripped the sandwich right out of his hands. His stream went from chill vibes to a Hitchcock movie in under 5 seconds. Of course, not all animal encounters are accidents. Some streamers actually sign up for it, Kai Cenat thought it would be funny content to get attacked by trained canine dogs while wearing a bite suit. At first, he laughed, joking around with the handlers. But once they released the dogs, Kai instantly regretted it. The animals slammed into him full force, dragging him to the ground like he was a criminal. Even with protection, Kai was screaming for help, realizing that attack dog content wasn't just entertainment, it hurt. Another case came from Cooksucks, an IRL streamer in Asia. He was wandering near a tourist area when a monkey decided to make him its target. The monkey clawed at his arm and tried to snatch his food, leaving him completely shocked. Unlike most encounters where handlers step in, this monkey just wouldn't quit. Cooksucks ended up shouting in disbelief as the monkey chased him down the street, leaving tourists staring in confusion. And let's not forget Logan Paul, who had his own humiliating run-in with monkeys while vlogging abroad. One monkey grabbed his camera and refused to give it back, while another went for his bag, stealing food and nearly wrecking his gear. Logan tried to fight them off, but in the end, the monkeys walked away victorious, leaving him embarrassed in front of millions. The deeper you look, the more you realize animal attacks on streamers are almost a genre of their own. Take Jason the Ween. He thought it would be entertaining to test out an attack dog live on stream. Wearing a padded suit, he braced himself while trainers prepared the K9. At first, Jason acted confident, telling chat he could handle it. But the moment the trainer gave the command, the dog latched onto his arm with terrifying force. Jason's screams said it all. This wasn't a playful nip, this was a police-trained bite. He staggered, tried to hold on, but the pain was too much. When the session ended, he pulled off the sleeve to reveal his arm bruised and bleeding. Chat loved it, but Jason admitted he had underestimated just how brutal a real canine can be. Then there's QT Cinderella, who didn't even need to leave her house for chaos to break out. Midstream, she suddenly froze, eyes wide, before whispering, "There's a rat in here." Her camera started shaking as she stood on her chair, terrified, while chat spammed rat emojis. You could hear it scurrying in the background, and QT was on the verge of tears, begging for someone to help her. It was comedy gold for viewers, but for her, it was pure horror, a full-blown home invasion by one of the smallest yet scariest animals. It's not just exotic animals either. Even ordinary pets have turned streams upside down. Aiden Ross once went live trying to show his viewers his streaming setup, but his dog wasn't having it. The PUP kept biting his feet, his legs, even his mosquito bites. Aiden tried to stay calm, but you could hear him yelling "ow" over and over while limping around his room. To make things worse, the dog had peed on the floor earlier, leaving Aiden both frustrated and helpless live in front of thousands, and in one of the most bizarre moments, another streamer ended up basically wrestling with his cat on camera. What started as cuddling quickly turned into claws and bites. The streamer yelped as the cat clung onto him, digging its nails deep. He begged it to stop, but the animal just wouldn't let go. The more he tried to push it off, the more determined it seemed to hang on. Eventually, he had to end the stream early, leaving viewers stunned at how something so small caused so much chaos. From police dogs ripping into padded suits, to rats raiding gaming rooms, to monkeys treating human heads like scratching posts, streamers around the world keep proving that when animals show up, nothing ever goes according to plan. By now, it's clear that animal chaos doesn't care if you're famous, rich, or just live streaming to a small audience. If you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you're fair game. Meanwhile, Aiden Ross had his own nightmare when a monkey decided to crawl inside his shirt during a live appearance. At first, it seemed playful, but then the monkey started biting down on the fabric and nipping at his skin. Aiden froze, unsure if moving would make it worse. His team rushed in to pull the animal off, but not before Aiden was left shaken, checking for scratches. For a guy who interviews rappers for a living, it was ironic that his scariest guest turned out to be a monkey. These weren't viral megastars like Speed or Kai, just regular creators learning the same painful lesson. Live animals don't care about your content schedule, so whether it's deer headbutting tourists, bats flying into bedrooms, pigeons stealing sandwiches, or monkeys straight up robbing millionaires, one thing's for sure, the line between streaming and survival is way thinner than people think. And if IShowSpeed is the king of cursed animal encounters, these other streamers are proof that he's definitely not suffering alone.